Freak Show, how's it going? Today's video is a full game review of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. All right, guys, I'm going to do a little bit of an overview. I do my reviews in two different parts. I do a part that has no spoilers, and then I do a complete spoiler section that will come after the review rank, or as far as what I'm actually giving as a score. I'm going to go throughout the entire of what is offered on every single part, give my thoughts on what I've played and what I've experienced and what I think is good, what I think is bad, give you a score, and then we'll go into a complete spoiler section of different things that you may not want to know about. Mostly that would have to do anything that would have to do with a story campaign or anything of that sort of nature. I go deep dive into those sections later. Anyway, this game overview, basically this game, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, is available on all platforms: Xbox, PlayStation, PC. It's across all big title, all across, obviously big AAA game, that sort of stuff. There are a couple different parts to the game. You have your single player campaign, you have your single player campaign, you have your multiplayer, you have your zombies mode, and then they're going to tie in Warzone at some point. Obviously, a lot of you guys know that. That's stuff that you don't need to worry about. At the time of this recording, a PS4 version is $60 and a PS5 version is $70. As far as like next gen, I'm pretty sure it's the same on Xbox. I did see something about gifting one for $10 on Xbox, which is actually really cool, but I'm not really sure how to get that. I just saw that somewhere. Take that as you will. Moving on. So we're gonna do a story overview right quick. I'm gonna talk about campaign at first, then we're gonna move into multiplayer, and then we're gonna move into zombies. And each part of these statistical happenings, and then I will give an overall score from each part. So number one, looking at the campaign, we're gonna have a story overview right quick. You have a main character. You kind of flip between two as you play. One is your character, whose name is Bell, and I think it's really cool that they actually give you a thing where you can like give yourself a diagnose, like a personal profile, right? You put your first name, you put your last name, you put where you're from, and then it moves on with like how did you get involved with the team that you're running with, what are your personality traits as far as giving you different stat buffs inside of the game, making yourself either more stealthy or more aggressive, or you know, so on and so forth, more health, that sort of stuff. So I thought that was very interesting when they introduced your character and everything on like the part that would be you, kind of like how they did with Modern Warfare, or you know, back in the day with Modern Warfare, when you're being introduced to the new group as Soap. You're Soap McTavish. This thing, you're Bell, right? And so I was Football Bell Freak. Oh, so cool. I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought that was a pretty cool gameplay that they would put into. And so you're playing out this scenario in which a man named Perseus, you're going after this man named Perseus, who's just this ghost of a figure who's been pulling the strings on all sorts of different stuff, both inside of Vietnam, Cold War, and the like, as far as he's been playing all sorts of different sides of the coin with the communist Soviet Russian government. And so with that, you're trying to track him down. You find some informants, move on. You have all these different gameplays that you play out trying to find this guy. So that's the story. That's the overview of what you're getting. Now I'm going to look at graphics and audio. First off, cutscene graphics, as far as the front half of it, is beautiful. 100% approve of the polish that they did for a lot of the campaign stuff. Things look movie-esque. Like they in the first part of this, when the first development was happening, they had polished a lot of it and made it look really, really good. Things looked fantastic, and I really, really, really enjoyed watching the story unfold for the first part of the game. For audio, things were really, really decent. I mean, everything was clear and you could understand what was going on. There were parts where there's loud audio, things happening around you, but voice volume was ticked up so that people who were in the middle of the game are actually yelling at you, so you can still hear what's going on, even though these explosions and stuff are happening around you. So I thought it was pretty good. Didn't have too many bugs on that. Now, gameplay wise, there's very, very interesting explosions and graphics and different play types. Like You play in a helicopter, you play on a moving car, you know, you have all sorts of different styles of gameplay, and you have the running gun as far as usually gunning. There's sniping, opportunities for sniping, there's opportunity for shotgun, there's opportunities for all sorts of different types of guns and everything, and they play all of that pretty nicely, even though the campaign is really, really short. And so I felt like they did a really good job of trying to present everything in a very limited time. I wish there was more. I just wish that they had developed more into it. I'm going to chalk that up to having a year less development time than originally planned. And so they had to speed line everything going through, and it's understandable. But there's one thing that I had a very, very big concern on, and something that I have seen a lot of other people say that they're having issues, is there are a couple of bug out moments that happen. Now, I only had one thing happen to me. I never got stuck on a mission, quote unquote, or like felt like I couldn't progress what was going on. It just took me a couple seconds to figure out what I was supposed to do, or something that was supposed to help move it along, in which it actually like helped progress the game forward. But with that, the one thing that happened to me, I'll run a quick clip. We have to stop that. Uh-oh. Wait, what? Why is Woods walking in the middle of the... All right, Woods, let's go. Whoa, explosions. Another explosion. I have no clue what just happened. And so in the middle of me actually playing that section of the game, literally on the tarmac, big explosions going on around me, I literally had my PS5 just brick, or at least it felt like it bricked. The screen just cut off. Couldn't see anything, just a black screen. Nothing happened. I didn't know if there was something weird that had happened or something. And then I look over, my PS5 light actually turned off. Shutting down the system. Freaked me out. I don't know if it was the PlayStation 5 doing that or whether it was the game doing that, but my PlayStation 5 stopped playing, stopped working. I couldn't turn it on with my controller, which freaked me out a ton. And then I moved into having to unplug it and replug it back in order for it to actually turn on. I know some of you have already heard that story, but I have to say that freaked me out really, really good. So if it was supposed to be a jump scare for Halloween, congratulations, you're still doing it. Anyway, moving on from that scenario, that was one of the bugs that I found while playing the campaign, and I found like it was really, really rough. Now, as far as playing the campaign and in different parts of which you actually, they implemented a few new things like body shield and like assassinating people. I felt like they wanted you to rush the enemy and like pick up a guy and then feel like a total badass while you run around, you know, gangster style with just the arm out to the side while you're holding some guy and like absorbing all the bullets while you're shooting them with the... I thought that was really interesting that they implemented that instead of your traditional style where it's like, you know, shoot some people, move to a new set of cover, shoot some people, new set of cover, and more enemies spawn, shoot some people, move to a new set of cover, so on and so forth. They tried to like change it up a little bit where it's like, oh, close quarter, so grab a body shield and then walk forward with the body shield as you're just like mowing down enemies. And then I don't know, I thought that was funny. I thought that was pretty interesting, and it gave some pretty interesting opportunities, in which I had some times where I like, anyway, moving on. We were in the non-spoiler section, so that's what I kind of feel about campaign. If I had to get a ranking out of 10, being super short, not having enough content, splicing over a story that didn't really pan out astronomically well that I thought it should have. If I had to give it a score out of 10, I'm probably going to give it a 6 out of 10, maybe a 6.25 if we're going to be a little bit generous with some of the extra techniques that they got in there. Toward the end, it felt like filler, like they made you do something in order for you to just have more gameplay to where we don't really have to change anything. We don't have to do anything different, but we're just going to have you have more gameplay by making you, and I know when you guys play it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So the gameplay time went up, but the value, the actual effort that the dev team had to put in went nowhere. You'll see what I'm talking about when you get to that situation. With that being said, the 6.25 I feel like could be actually a little bit generous on the side. That it's just there are parts. No spoilers. We'll talk about spoilers in the next section. Number 2, moving on, we're going into multiplayer. Multiplayer here, from my first impressions, I was saying I was having fun. I said that I was enjoying the game and that it was really good. There are some things that really have panned out that I find to be very frustrating with the game. I was chalking most of my frustration up to the regular COD mantra, meaning that there's an OP weapon, there's the meta, they need to nerf this gun and nerf that gun, blah, blah, blah. I was saying that the maps weren't all, there weren't that many terrible things about the maps or anything like that, which I still think holds true. There's not much character in many of the maps. They're kind of just, and I don't understand what people really want. I don't think that there's anything that you could really improve upon. I do like certain features where they have like not necessarily secret hiding spots, but different spots that people can get into that are unorthodox or you would not necessarily expect people to be into or get into. And so I can't fault any of the map design. And I think there's a good balance between allowing people to rush, allowing people to snipe, allowing people to have assault rifles, and the like, as far as being able to play with all of that. So I think the gameplay feels pretty decent. Graphics are absolutely terrible. Graphics are absolutely terrible. And I mean, not absolutely terrible, but I'm just moving on from the fact of like Modern Warfare set a standard for graphics and audio that blew me out of the water. As far as like gun sounds, like things were really, really loud. So it was like difficult to hear your teammates and stuff, which kind of frustrated in the fact of, okay, I've heard this once before, but that gameplay immersion was pretty interesting, from a Modern Warfare standpoint. So moving on to the next part of it, they kind of hyped up saying that the gun was going to look really good and the audio was going to sound like it was really a gun. I mean, most of the audio sounds exactly the same depending on what gun like there's not too much difference on when a gun fires and when a gun fires. It doesn't really feel like they took the time to actually pan out each type of weapon to get a unique sound out of each one, which by all means, I mean, shooting a bullet for the most intended, but some stuff sounds very different than other stuff. And I don't feel like there's enough comparison or enough difference between the two, to really give you a feel like you're shooting an LMG or you're shooting an assault rifle. It doesn't feel quite different, but it's okay. I'm not going to harp on the negativity for too long. Moving on from that, leveling system, XP system that they have incorporated and that sort of stuff. Your leveling of your character doesn't do all that bad. The leveling of the character seems to be a relatively easy pace, a really decent amount of gameplay. As far as I got a prestige, I'm not sure exactly what I'm up to, but I finally got a prestige, and it was about, let's just say it's about 12 hours. Between 10 and 12 hours to get that prestige, depending on how well you actually play or how much score you actually play. So if you're playing domination, go get the points on domination. If you're playing team deathmatch, kill as many people as you can. As long as you're playing for the objective and getting a decent amount of score, it takes about 10 to 12 hours for you to prestige in and of that self. Now, when we talk about leveling guns and the gun leveling mechanic, it is abysmal. It is terrible. We'll go into camos and that sort of stuff as we go along, but it takes so long to level a gun to get the attachments that are available for it. I mean, I try to go into a game and get roughly between 30 and 40 kills a game. If I have a bad game, it might be like 15 to 20 or something like that. But I try to get between 30 and 40 kills a game. And I'm sitting here for hours and hours. I mean, I have gotten one gun fully upgraded, and I'm close to getting a second gun fully upgraded, and I've prestiged the first prestige. That timing for the guns just seems to be taking way too long. I understand that for the dark matter grind and trying to get that special camo, they really want to push forward you playing a ton so that it's actually like a reward that you get at the end. But it's really, really, really rough that if you're trying to level the gun to get camos, if you're trying to level the gun to get the different equipment to make your gun a little bit more viable in the situations, that it takes so freakishly long. They set the camos. Okay, so we'll move into camos right quick. There are 6 sections of different camos that you can get, each with 5 camos that are available for each gun. It is a very, very big drawback or a step backwards from Modern Warfare, and the fact that there were millions of camos. I mean, it wasn't really millions, but you get what I'm saying. There are so many camos in Modern Warfare that it takes so long to get through all of the kills to be able to get all of those camos. And at the time that you're trying to get all of those kills, you're trying to get headshots, you're trying to get mounted kills, you're trying to get, crouch kills, blah, blah, blah. For Cold War, you just play with the gun and you're eventually going to get them all. You might have to focus at the very end to get a certain number of things, but the different challenges that they present, and I know some people really wanted to have just a headshot mantra, back into the headshot mantra, and they don't want to have, you have to have these specific tasks, and you have to focus on these specific tasks. I'm kind of tossed up between the two. I kind of like the specific tasks because it makes me have to play a different way. It makes me have to change up my play style instead of me just like, I'm just going to get them if I keep playing and getting headshots and I don't really have to do anything different. So I feel it's like more of a challenge and more of a thing to have to strive for if you have a certain task that you have to do. But with that, when you have 400 kills as a total and you're able to do those 400 kills before you even unlock the 75 kills to do with a UAV or a placement mounter, you've got an unbalanced system here that does absolutely terrible. So either bump up the number of camos and the 1,000 kills that I need, or actually level out your guns fast enough that when I get to level 50 and I need double kills, I'm still working on the 400 kills that are needed at the beginning, which I think 400 is way too low. But there's not a leveled system there in which the gun doesn't level fast enough for you to finish the whole thing. You're getting 400 camos, which should be the full max out of the gun, if that's what you're stating the full max out of the gun is, but you're only getting to like level 30 with the gun when you get to 400 camos. It's not even, it's not balanced. I don't like that's there's a big problem with that. Moving on to more of the create a class type stuff. I enjoyed the wild card feature that they decided to bring in. I thought that was pretty good, an idea of moving in a direction that would change how creative, well, not necessarily, they're bringing it back, right? I believe the wild card feature was used in previous games. And I feel like it's kind of like the ode to like, okay, well, people don't really like the operators who have this OP mechanic, like a drone that goes and stuns you, or this super fantastic shock. I keep saying the shock thing. I used the drone so much to get free headshots in Black Ops 4. And so without those operators who have certain abilities, they're like moving into like, okay, well, we'll let you break your class so that you can have these operator type. That's what I kind of felt like. I know it's not exactly equivalent, and it's not an easy sell for you to equate the two, but that's beside the point. What I'm moving into is on the creative class, you have these wild cards that let you either bring more attachments on your gun, bring more explosives as far as like 2 grenades and 2 tactical equipments, as far as danger close is what it's called. And then you have a different one that moves into giving you, it's called Lawbreaker, where you can like, it's basically overkill. You can bring whatever gun you want in any slot. You can bring out different perks at different times. And then the other one I believe is double perks on each slot. So you can have like 2 blue, 2 red, and 2 yellow perks to be able to enhance your player's abilities. I personally like Gunfighter. I like leveling out my gun to get as many statistics as possible and as many buffs as possible on my gun. It's probably not the most effective. I would probably say either double perk or the Lawbreaker, where you can bring the 3 perks of Ninja, Cold-Blooded, and there's a third one that's like a take you off radar type thing. Cold-Blooded, Ghost. cold-blooded, and ninja. I think those three probably do the best for being able to sneak around and be in enemy territory without actually having to be in enemy territory, as far as like not being seen in enemy territory. So that kill streaks don't kill you or find you. Score streaks don't find you, as far as just like UAV and that sort of stuff. And then field equipment doesn't find you. And then you have a very silent movement, as far as the footsteps won't be heard if people are running ninja. Okay. So with that, I thought the wildcard system was pretty good. And bringing up different stuff. I really enjoy that they put the details on the gun attachments. So when you go into a gun and you're actually having a gun attachment, you can click R2 on the PS5 or whatever, and it brings up a list of all of the actual things that attachment is changing, as far as like effective fire range, or how bullet velocity bullet velocity changes, or how effective your damage range is, or what's your aim as far as like sprint to aim time, or how fast your ADS is. I am stumbling through this entire part, I'm sorry. Anyway, I really enjoy that they brought up those details and are able to see the ins and outs of how everything gets affected with each attachment. I think that's brilliant. If you don't know what that is, look for it. It says details when you're looking at attachment. You can actually bring it up and you can see how it's going to alter. How much does your bullet velocity get affected? How much does your effective range get altered, and that sort of stuff. So if you have a sniper rifle that has a huge amount of range that can shoot clear across 3 of the maps, if I bring down the effective range to bring up my ADS, does that really, or as far as the trade-off, you know what I'm saying? Like if I bring down my bullet velocity and my effective range, is that really going to hurt the sniper rifle? Because I'm playing on short maps, right? But it's like, oh, I'm playing sniper when I'm on combined arms and I need to shoot further away. Well, maybe we should bump that up. You can like customize your classes to be able to do that. I haven't been able to go into the nitty gritty of each one to really understand what would be best, and like be able to play out enough scenarios to where I would be able to find different groupings or different attachments that would really work well together. It would just take me a little bit of time. Anyway, overall, I feel like multiplayer is not fleshed out well enough, does not have a good enough progression system to tie me to it. And I haven't even touched on the worst part. How did this slip my mind? SBMM, absolutely god awful. I know a lot of people were having issues, and I was on the fence of like, well, how bad can SBMM be? Because it makes me work. You know what I mean? Like we're having to play decent players. Well, man, I want some time off between games. Every single game I'm going in, I have to play at the top level of my game, and it gets absolutely exhausting. I want to have some fun while playing the game at some point. I mean, if anybody at Activision or anybody at Treyarch are watching this, which is highly doubtful in any sense of the means, but if you are, highly like I'm pleading with you to like turn down some SBMM. Let me have a wider range of players to play against. I am okay with getting absolutely mopped by a team if I have the opportunity to absolutely mop a team. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being pushed in front of a bunch of pros as long as I'm able to, do that in front of someone else. And I know you're gonna be like, well, what does the guy in the bottom do? Look, he's probably not playing very often, or if at all. I mean, the people who love your game, which is a very vast amount of people, don't want to have to work so hard at every single game to either win or keep their KD alive. It is astronomically rough to play this game and not have some winning moments. I mean, I spend multiple times getting one kill dead, and then maybe go off for 2 or 3, and then turn around and go dead, because I'm running into different people who are my same caliber of player, and they're really decent. I mean, just like for me playing, if I was really bad at the game, if I'm playing against people who are really bad at the game, then we're gonna have a really slow game, but it's gonna feel like it's really difficult. Now, if I'm really bad at the game and I get into a group that's really good at the game, I might have some fun and be able to move around and pick off some players because I get into spots that I'm not usually in. I feel like it's very beneficial for your game if you turn down the SBMM so it's not such a strong correlation where everybody has to sweat so hard to try and win. I mean, every single game feels like you're stressing out. There's never a one-sided It never feels like there is a one-sided opportunity for you to win. And it gets very tiring. And trying to play it for multiple hours a day is just exhausting. And so if I wanted to play a game in which I had to actually like work really hard, then what's the point of playing the game? The game is supposed to bring me outside of the stress, outside of the tense situations that I have. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox on that. I am totally on team. Get the SBMM, get it out of this freaking game. Get it out of every game. Just let people have fun. Have a ranked play system. I understand that there is a spot in the barracks that gives you a ranking for both zombies and for multiplayer, and there is a ranking system. I haven't seen a rank yet. I've seen a rank on zombies, but I haven't seen a rank on anything else as far as multiplayer. But let there be an actual ranked gameplay that people who want to sweat, people who want to go pro, people who want to play in CDL can go play there. Leave the fun part of the game, the people who just want to make content, the people who just want to have fun with their friends, the people who just want to stress release from their job, be able to go in and play a casual game and not have to worry about having all these people who are right around their ability, making it really difficult for you to actually play the game. Let it be open. Let it be free. I don't know. I'm totally on SBMM is totally bad. I understand with how high this cranked on the SBMM is. I can completely understand why people are having a super faulty problem with it and absolutely hate it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap that up for multiplayer. Again, I feel like there are very, very detrimental parts. I'm going to be kind of hypercritical on this. I know that a lot of people probably won't feel this type of way. I mean, I haven't even talked about hardcore, bro. I'm missing out on half the stuff here. I'm so sorry. On the switch from core to hardcore, there's not. For me, I feel like there's a lot of campers. I mean, you can go either side, core or hardcore. There's a lot of campers, but with hardcore, camping is too easy. Camping is literally just one bullet, a spray of bullet. Like you literally just have to point in a general direction with any kind of automatic rifle and you'll get a bullet on them and they're dead. And I dislike the fact that it heightens the amount of camp that is available. Thank you for taking out the mounted system in which people can't sit on a mounted thing and just wait for people to come around a certain corner because that's the only place that they come out of and you're just able to go pop, 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 pop. I understand that. Thank God that that's gone. I hate the mounted system. It was a cool idea to bring into as far as just take the stuff from Battlefield and try and throw it in your game to see how well it works. But like, oh my gosh, dude, hardcore is just a bunch of people sitting, waiting for their KDs to not drop, trying to make sure their KDs don't drop. And I wanted to run around and be able to like shoot somebody, run around, shoot somebody, have some fun, blah, blah, blah. And you have to sweat out your mind if you're going to try and do it, because hardcore coupled with SBMM makes it unbearable, makes it absolutely unbearable. So if you take the SBMM out, hardcore is probably viable in the fact that you can run around and actually and still have some fun and be able to make some plays and that sort of stuff. But anyway, moving on from all of that, multiplayer, I'm going to sum up multiplayer. I don't care if anything pops into my head. I don't really care about that anymore. Oh, I got to forget about, no, I'm just kidding. All right, multiplayer. I feel like out of a score of 10, I'm going to give multiplayer a 5.5, 5.45. We're bringing it down just a notch. And the reason being, you have a terrible leveling, not necessarily terrible leveling system. The leveling system's okay. The gun XP is it's not fast enough. It needs to be faster. There needs to be a new leveling of that. The SBMM makes it absolutely sweaterific and absolutely just, it is so rough to play. I will still grind out the entire Dark Matter and Dark Aether, which we'll get into zombies in a second. But I'm gonna grind out both of those. I really want to. There's a lot of stuff that there's a lot to strive for, and I'm really excited about that. That part I'm really excited about. Not a big fan of having to sweat every single time with the SBMM, and then not a big fan of the hardcore situation. Well, I started thinking about hardcore, man, and I'm just like, man, campers galore, and it's anyway. So I'm gonna give it a 5.45 out of 10, making it very, very rough. Okay, now let's move into something. Zombies, obviously. Let's move into something that's a little bit positive. Of this game. Now, do I think that it can carry by itself? Remains to be seen. It's really rough when there's only like one map. I understand that there's that there's that onslaught mode, and there's a couple of different tweaks that you can do. But as far as like you can like make it to where it's only 20 rounds, and that sort of stuff. But like you only have one map, the machini, right, or whatever, zombies, right. Okay, so you have the one map. Now they overhauled the zombie system completely. Part of me felt like there was something that needed to be done, that was really, really like beneficial and things that were really, really good. And there's part of me that feels like they completely crapped on the old system, and it just doesn't really vote to be zombies anymore. Now with that being said, I do feel like it's really good that if you're going to present the dark matter, the dark aether camo available for guns, it is nice for you to bring in your creative class. But let's just take a trip down memory lane on what zombies used to be. Zombies used to be you spawn in with a gun, and in this gun you try to maximize your points in order to open up parts of the map, in order for you to actually get better guns, to be able to turn on power, to be able to get pack-a-punch, so on and so forth, right? And you did all these certain things to progress on these certain rounds, to get more powerful weapons, to be able to kill more zombies and that sort of stuff. And I guess my understanding, or my guess, is that when developing this game or trying to represent it, they're like, how can we get more people in? Well, we stopped making it so enigmatic, or as far as just like we try to make it easier, more clear on how you get your guns better. We try to make it more clear on how to play the game. You aren't just like I feel like a lot of people who didn't know how to play the game, who didn't try to know how to play the game, went into zombies with their pistol, played with their pistol for the entire time, and didn't get anywhere. They may have found a wall buy, but then the zombies got too hard, and then it's like, man, I could never get past round 7 or round 10 or something. And it's like, okay, well, you opening up the map. Are you able to get to the mystery box? Do you know what the mystery box is? Do you know what the pack-a-punch is? Can you get to the pack-a-punch? And so I feel like they made it, they tried to reinvent, to get people to play, to start over and give all of these different aspects of the game an opportunity to be explored by people who had never played before, right? And so they literally have these big indicators on the map. They're like, you need to go here. Like, oh, where's power? I don't know where power is. So instead of like, oh, follow the ziggity zag lines and try and figure out your way down the tunnel and to go over into this area, what it is we're going to literally put an indicator on the map. We're going to say, go to this spot. It's like, okay, well, I need to break open this door. It's like, okay, now what door do I need to break? Oh, I need to break open this door. Oh, go over here. And it like literally points you, and it's like, this is power. It's like, oh, you turn on power, and then like other doors open up, the perk machines come on, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, oh, wow, cool. That's interesting. I never knew that even existed. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Then it goes to the next part, and it's like, you know, when you turn on the power and this big ball of anomaly shows up, go click it. And it's like big icon that says go click it, right? And it's like, oh, go over here and go to this certain spot, and then that will give you the piece of equipment that you need for the pack-a-punch, which is just one piece. Anyway, so they're like holding a toddler's hand through this entire thing, which I get the incentive of what you're doing, but it kind of spits in the face of anybody who's played zombies regularly, because it's just like, okay, thanks. Like, you're taking out a lot of the fun that was in the game of like trying to figure out the best route, or trying to figure out what would cost least to get out there or get into the spot that you want me to get into. You know, it's just, anyway, I'm over here. I'm harping about stuff that doesn't really matter. Anyway, it felt like it was just like the old sense of zombies is completely gone. We're moving on in a totally new path. Hopefully you want to stick along for the ride. Luckily for them, every other piece of this game is absolutely trash. So, moving on with that. Bright lights, the effectiveness of going into a dark room and a flashlight coming on, and then having zombies come at you from the flashlight, or like only being able to see this small circle on your screen, and then a zombie might be in your peripheral, and you're like, turn, and there's a zombie right there. It's like, that part's pretty cool. It like gives it a scary effect. Now when you turn power on, all that scariness goes away, and there's not much that you have to like worry about anymore. But that scary factor was played in there a little bit better than what it's been in other maps, so I applaud applaud them for that. I thought that was pretty cool. There's these vibrant colors around the map, so when you're going in these dark areas and you're looking, you're getting all sorts of different vibrant colors. I thought that was pretty good as far as the spray painting and that sort of stuff. I haven't gotten through Easter egg. I haven't even looked at the Easter egg. I'm still trying to figure it out with my friends. We haven't played a ton, but we're trying to expose ourselves to the Easter egg instead of looking it up and all that sort of stuff. And so that's been a pretty fun moment in that sort of get-go. Moving into a different part of everything. So I like those aesthetics that they brought into the game. I thought that was pretty good. Moving into a different part are bugs, glitches, that sort of stuff. There's way too easy of ways to get out of the map for people. I've seen a couple of things where people are using the dark aether, laying on a certain part in the ground in front of Juggernaut. They're able to just use the dark aether and then it like sinks them through the ground. I've seen stuff where people can line up on a bench and jump twice and all of a sudden they're in the roof. What else have I seen? I've seen stuff where you can jump on the particle accelerator. You can jump into the middle, and then people like I understand people are gonna find these different things, but I feel like there's stuff in there that's way too obvious for people to get to, and it's just it just doesn't seem like there's much playtesting that happened with that. And so, not to say that glitches aren't bad. I've played with a couple of glitches. They make for fun experiences inside of the game. But I mean, there's either got to be a way to detect glitches so that people don't run up on the leaderboards, or there's got to be some sort of fix that implements pretty quickly, because each one of those are very, very detrimental to the game, allowing people to go underneath the map, allowing people to get outside of the map, so on and so forth. I just feel like you guys need to step it up on a few of those different pieces. It just doesn't seem like it was play tested enough. So with all of that, let's talk about upgrading weapons, right? You have a base damage that you can upgrade your weapon. There's also a base armor that you can upgrade your armor, which is a very interesting ordeal. They brought in the idea of using armor on the BR as far as like Warzone and stuff. They brought that into zombies, and you can like get an armor vest, and you can get armor plates, and you can put the armor plates in, and then you can upgrade that armor to be able to take more damage, that sort of stuff. You can upgrade the base damage of your gun. You can pack a punch. I thought it was very interesting with all of these upgrade mechanics that they let you just click through all of them. Like the menu's very clean and easy once you get to actually read it. You have like how much you have in the bottom right, and then how much it costs in the top right. And then it like lets you choose between 1, 2, and 3. Of course, you have to unlock them as they go about. But with that, I feel like it's a very, very interesting mode of transportation. And then the Pack-a-Punch doesn't consume your weapon and then re-give your weapon. It just happens. Pack-a-Punch just happens. And so I'm assuming that's to try and get people involved with the game so that when you go to upgrade something, it just upgrades. And so you're ready to go. Instead of you having to understand that if you give your gun to the Pack-a-Punch, you're going to have to wait for 2 or 3 seconds before it pops back out. And in that time, you might have a zombie come after you. So you have to like make a circle or finesse it or kill it before you can actually get to your Pack-a-Punch weapon. So instead of doing that, they're like, we'll just pull up this menu, let you click which one you want, and then get going. Again, kind of good, kind of bad. You can pick what type of ammo you want. Kind of good, kind of bad. I'm having a fight between the old way and what I know and what I liked, and what I grew to like, grew to love, and then being presented with something new and seeing if it's good or bad. I can see both sides and where they're coming from. I kind of steered toward the backside just because I've played so much on the back end, or as far as the first type of zombies, that it made it really hard for me to like grow really, really liking the new one. So, tossing up, something's good, something's bad. Another part that they introduced, extractions. I thought extractions were a brilliant idea because you always had to just play till you died. You just played until the zombies overwhelmed you, and then people got caught on geometry and then got hit too many times, blah, 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 blah. Instead of that, instead of being, only way to get out is to die and then respawn with these people back in the game, you're able to end the game by exfilling out, and so you get this really large wave of zombies in which you have to kill like 70 zombies in a minute or something like that. Which I find that if you get the ray gun's too OP, it just shreds through everything. But anyway, when you're shooting with the, where you're shooting all of these 70 zombies, once you kill all 70, it just takes you away and you survive the match. And it's like, okay, I like that. I actually decently like that. Like, I think that that's a cool way to like end it, sum up it, make it happen. And then you're sprinkling in some zombies, and then some armored zombies, some zombies that have a little bit more health, which I thought was really good or really interesting. And then, you know, we have another spot, another part to it, in which you actually bring in a boss level or an elite level zombie, in which you have to kill the elite level zombie in order for you to actually move forward with it. Brilliant new mechanics that are coming in. I think that that is fantastic to help gameplay move forward. I think that is fantastic for people to be able to have new experiences, and so I applaud on that. I think that those are pretty good things. Now, of course, we had elemental type zombies and that sort of stuff, but we never had something that was like astronomically more powerful than a regular zombie. So I do enjoy that. I do think that those things are pretty good. So I have no fault. No, in any way do I think that those were bad ideas. I think those were really good ideas, giving new characteristics to zombies and things that were great. They didn't spit on the old. I think they added to the old, which I felt was really good. Moving forward from that, I can't comment on the Easter egg at all. I don't have anything to go there. And so I feel like Zombies has done a really good job of reinventing their game and getting people excited about it, even though there might be some things that detract from the old way of playing. So with that, I'm gonna give Zombies an 8.37 out of 10. Now, the 0.37 really doesn't really mean anything. Okay, the point stuff doesn't mean anything on these, but I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10. An 8.37 out of 10 is what I'm gonna give it. With that being said, I feel like Zombies didn't detract from everything, but I do feel like there are some things that weren't really kept, that kind of took away from what the original zombie experience. But I feel like a lot of people could get behind the new Zombies experience. And so moving it up into an 8.37, I'm going to knock it a little bit just for the fact that there's a couple pieces of nostalgia that they didn't take, and they made like getting to stuff too easy just due to the fact that they're trying to get to a new player base. I understand the idea. I just don't like it. And then I'm going to give it a couple points for adding new stuff, vibrant colors, graphical updates, all that sort of stuff. Top notch. I think those are great. So anyway, 8.37 out of 10. Culminating all three, which should be showing up up in here. We're going to have to go mid-road here. We're going to have to go with like a 6.4 for the entire game. It's just a 6 out of 10, but 6.40 out of 10 for the entire game. I feel like when you have 3 parts to a game and only one of them does satisfactory to pretty good, you're not going to get a very good score for your entire game. Like I said, multiplayer dragged this thing through the mud. Campaign, the amount of campaign that was available, dragged this thing through the mud. And so there you go. It's going to be a 6.40 out of 10. That's the end of my review side of this. I'm going to go into spoilers for campaign so that I can give a better campaign talk for those of you that like campaign. I've pretty much talked my butt off between multiplayer and zombies, so that part is completely done. Moving into campaign spoilers. Spoiler alert, you got 5 seconds after this to go, hit the hay or whatever. We're going to keep the 5-second timer up. If you like the video, if you've enjoyed, if you've watched all the way to this part, absolutely astronomical of you. I appreciate it. Think about hitting a like, think about subscribing, hitting the comment button. I stream on Twitch, links in the description down below. Enough said. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. This is the spoiler section. Welcome. We're going to talk about the campaign start to finish, everything that I find good, everything that I find bad, and things that I feel like they should have gone on and done more. First off, when you start off on the campaign, you're jumped in and you're moving in between 2 different targets, right? You have the associate, and then you have the person that you're actually going after that has like the intel or the inside job, who is the associate of the main bad guy. So you're trying to find the main bad guy. They set that up very fast. They jump you in and they make you go. You hit the ground running, and you're already like, the first thing that you're doing is you're shooting in through a window where these guys are watching a soccer game or some sort of show on TV, and you're shooting them, and then all of a sudden you're running after this dude, and this dude is taking off. And so you chase him across from rooftops. I'm not really sure exactly where we're at. I'm not really sure what's happening, but you go and you actually find him, right? You find him. I thought there was a really interesting part where they could actually you could discern what you wanted to have happen. You could kill him, you could capture him, you can beat him up or something. I don't remember. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that you can do. You can I think you can capture him, you can throw him off the thing, killing him, or you can kill him and stab a knife in his throat or something like that. There's options to it. I don't know exactly. I don't see how any of it could alter the gameplay or change the gameplay. You might get a different voice line at one point in the game, as far as way in the back when we're going over everything that you did. I don't think that they did a very good job of explaining that things could really alter or change. I really don't think that there's anything that could alter or change. It's just going to move you on to the next storyline. I don't think things really connect very well inside of the game in general. So once we get there and we do that sort of thing, we go to this airport tarmac, and this is the part where they're on the tarmac and they're getting stuff going or whatever, and your boy that you're chasing shoots these two guys in the van, and then you start lighting up their entire force or you try to shoot him, right? And when you unsuccessfully snipe at him, it goes through his cohort's back of the skull because he moves in front of the bullet, whatever. Anyway, and that guy starts taking off in the plane. Go, 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 go. We got to get out of here. And so you start shooting up the entire airfield and you start going after the plane, right? At that point, after starting to go in the plane, in the Jeep and that sort of stuff, my PS5 bricked that we were talking about earlier. PS5 did brick. Didn't brick. It soft bricked, I guess, or whatever. I was able to get it back on eventually. But with that, with the sentiment of this bad blood, I feel like that's such a detriment to the game in general. Anyway, flies off, or we go over, we use the RC car, we kill the plane. We're able to kill him in the explosion on the plane and that sort of stuff. And then it just moves on to the next part, and that we don't. I just feels like we're just pushing forward a little bit, and hint of going here, hint of going here, and then we play a memory at one point, and then we do something there, and then it's just everything seems so disconnected for me. I don't feel like there's a very good move from playing as Alex, playing as Belle, moving forward. Everything seems kind of disconnected at first. You're trying to catch up on exactly where you're at in the story and what you're actually doing. You do notice that you're chasing after one dude, but you can't really tell exactly. Maybe they played into stuff that I didn't remember from Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, whatever. Maybe I didn't play into that very well. Maybe I'm not coalescing all of it, or reminiscing everything perfectly. I just felt so confused on the storytelling lines of most of the Black Ops storyline that maybe I'm just so confused out of all of it that I don't remember anything. But anyway, I feel like the campaign, when we're going through all of these missions, we're just hinting at different things that have happened, and we're picking out different stuff, and we're not really doing a cohesive story. It does, once the twist happens, when you find out that you, Belle, are a guy who was in the Jeep that got shot and that sort of stuff, and it brings that fold back into it, and you're able to kind of see across everything. I felt like it didn't do, it didn't really it wasn't that aha of a twist. It was oh, here's the twist. Of course, there's a twist, and then I'm guessing that there's different endings. I'm guessing that they have different stuff. I know that I personally get shot at the end, even though I cooperated, even though I tried to save millions of people with all these nukes that were going to go off in the middle of Europe. And all that sort of stuff, but I'm not sure exactly how much they plan on switching different stuff. I know that when you're Belinsky and you're inside of the Russian embassy or whatever, and you're having to oh, maybe I could go over here and frame this person with the server thing, or maybe I could poison him over here, or maybe I could do this. It's I feel like they did a lot of stuff inside of one mission to give you more of an open world and more of an open decision-making process. So props on that. but I don't feel like it's not going to alter the storyline. I feel like your storyline to progress is going to be the same in and of itself. Either you kill the general that you're going after, you either kill that general, you imprison that general, in which he probably will die anyway. You're able to get into the bunker without doing anything with the general. And so I feel like there's not much that changes or alters depending on which way you play. You just have little tidbits of storyline that change, whether you're going to the server room to get something, whether you're bribing the guard with a cigar, whether you're, doing different stuff, grabbing the tea from the custodial closet, whether you're, enticing the prisoner to be able to kill him, that sort of stuff. I remember all the different parts. I haven't played all the different parts, but at the end of it, you gain access to the bunker, and in the access of the bunker, you get the download stuff, and then you fight your way back out as Bell. Long story short, there you go. That's what happens. I mean, like, it doesn't feel like it's like, it feels like it's extra content for the sake of extra content without the actual like changing or alteration of the story. There are times where I feel like no matter how you did one thing, it doesn't affect anything else in the story. So I don't think that there's too many different changes or altercations. With the changing of altercations, that sort of stuff, you do the one mission where you keep going back playing Groundhog Day and your briefing keeps changing. One time you're using an M16, one time you're using a compound bow, one time you're using blah, 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 blah. And then you take a left or a right, you take a left or a right, take a left or a right. And he tells you to keep going the same way, but you can like not go that way. And I don't think that it actually changes anything. I think that you just keep moving forward in different stuff. And then they kind of like put on this PT thing where you keep running around the room. And it's like, if you go around 4 times, it tells you to turn around. But I bet if you turn around at the beginning, you would able to find the bunker immediately. And so with all these different decisions and all these different things that like can change the storyline that don't actually change the storyline, they give you these little things like mission accomplished, it did this, or like you've done this objective or something like that. It like pops up and it says like, correctly answer Ibrahim or Zakayev's questions in the elevator, which I did. And it pops up and it says, hey, look, you did this. It's like, okay, yay. Like, seriously, that's all it is. It's like, yay. But when you look at the actual menu, there's nothing there. There's no place to say like, these are the different challenges that you have completed, these are the different challenges you haven't completed. And so I'm wondering if there's anything within the trophies that has a thing. Like, I don't know where to find any of these or what those actually do, or if those things actually mean anything. It's just like, it's like it made a decision point for you that you decided to do this and that, this is the checkbox that you checked off. I don't know. It's really weird. It's really different. But anyway, going through all of this, we never have any point in which we actually like face the bad guy. We get to see the bad guy toward the end with our memories and that sort of stuff, but we never see Pegasus. We never actually like encounter him. I'm sure they're trying to play it into this is the next storyline and we're going to progress our game as far as give you other titles in later years, that have more and more content. But it doesn't seem like they have anything that's really like pulling you into the story and actually making you think the story is really like we don't have anything that's like a culmination at the end. We like assault this base and we blow up the thing as far as the entire base or whatever, and that somehow blowing up that area stops the destruction of Europe and all of the nukes. I don't feel like that's a really good resolution. I don't really feel like you actually solved the problem. You didn't kill the guy that you were chasing after. You didn't confront the guy. You didn't have a way to actually break whatever it was, the detonating code. Like, I feel like he still has the information to be able to set off all the nukes, and you've done absolutely nothing. Honestly, that's what it feels like, for me, at least. Maybe I'm reading it in wrong. Maybe I don't know what's going on. But they just like, oh, we bombed this place and it was happily ever after. I don't know. It feel kind of lackluster to me. And all in all, if I were to give any kind of improvements for this game, I want better storytelling, just all in together. I want it to string together string together a little bit better. I want it to be able to give me something that's lasting in the sense of like, tell me the story, show me the path in which it goes. I mean, like, I get that you're giving the player a little bit more opportunity to understand or like be able to like look into the story a little bit with all the different pieces of text and all that sort of stuff. But I really don't feel like they do a very good job of why things are important on different stuff, or how everything kind of groups together, or how like why you're really doing what you're doing. Like I can get the idea of like, oh, this guy has a spy network, one of the side missions. Aldridge, he has a spy network, and we have to decrypt this thing, which I thought was really cool. I really like the idea of bringing in the encryption type stuff, but if I can do all of your encryption and break all of your different like stuff, you find evidence in different missions and you use that evidence. I thought that's a really cool mechanic, but like me and chat spent about 20 to 30 minutes on one of the encryption parts to try and figure it out, which we eventually did. Props to you, chat. Props to us. But it's not terribly difficult. It wasn't terribly difficult to actually get that. It did take a while. It was a little bit frustrating, but we did eventually get it. So I guess it was a good enough thing. But if we spent 20 to 30 minutes figuring that out and your game was finished in 6 hours, less than 6 hours, and that's with me stopping, me commenting, me having my PS4 break and then our PS5 break and then having to restart it and all that sort of stuff. If all of that is incorporated into your 6 hours of gameplay, you're not long enough. You're not long enough at all. So improvements, make it longer. I understand there's a whole year of development and that sort of stuff, but if this was truly all of the different campaign missions that you were going to have, by God, it's too short. It's honestly way too short. And so with that, would I play it again? Do you think that I would play it again? I feel like there are a little bit of opportunities for you to like see different outcomes. Like I could throw a guy off the building top or stab him in the neck or save him. And I already saved him, so I could stab him in the neck or I could throw him over. Like, is it worth playing for those moments? I really don't feel like it. I really don't feel like there's like a gripping moment where I pull a knife out of my chest, flip it in my hand, and shove it into the eye of the general that I was chasing, who was beating the crap out of my commanding officer. Like, there's not a moment that happens that makes me go, oh, you know, like in the Modern Warfare 2 game where like in the estate compound, and then we get the download and we give it to the general and the general shoots us. It's like, oh my God, biggest twist of all. The twist in this one is you're laying on a gurney and they say, oh, guess what? You're actually a Russian soldier. We're going to tell you everything. When we haven't gotten the information that we want from you, we're going to tell you the entire thing. And it's up to you to make the decision on whether you want to help us or not. And so you're put in this predicament. You're like, well, I'm a Russian soldier, and if I know I'm a Russian soldier, then I probably shouldn't give you the information. But if I don't give you the information, do I actually not give you the information and it makes something new happen? And so with replayability on that, sure, maybe I want to see it. But I have a feeling with having low development time that they're going to determine it's a lie, and then they're not going to, they're going to go, no, we should actually go to this other place. It's like, anyway, so I feel like there's just a lot missing. There's just a lot that needs to like be fixed with it. I think that there's not enough going there. That's why I gave it such a low score. And so with all of that, I'm going to wrap up this entire video. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what you think down below. If you have campaign issues and that sort of stuff, tell me down below. If you want to find out how to solve that stuff, I will be putting a playthrough on my channel on a playlist, and so you'll be able to do that. I will highlight the side missions with a title that says side mission, whatever the side mission is, but each mission is going to be a different episode. They're probably going to be pretty short on a lot of them, but it is what it is. Enjoy your freaking day. I appreciate you watching all the way through all of this. I don't have much to really talk about. I mean, you have these conflicts. You have a very terrible resolution in which you actually eventually die as far as Bell gets shot because you're a loose end, I guess. I don't know. But whew, I've talked for way too long. Enjoy your freaking day. I will see you guys in the next review. Toodaloo. Sayonara. Adios. Goodbye.